Okay, now this is a strange story. I was going to the dump in Shinston, and this guy came up to me. He was kind of a homeless guy, and he said, "Where are you going?" "Oh, I'm going over here to dig for bottles." "Oh, well, do you buy bottles?" "Yeah, sometimes." "Oh, well, I got all these antique bottles. I just got them a few days ago. I got all these milk bottles from Shinston and from here and there, all these close by towns." And I said, "Oh my God, oh, those sound good. How about going home and showing them to me?" So, long story short, he brings sacks full of bottles over to the dig site, and I start rummaging through them, only to find out that he has junk bottles from 1935 to 1945, all junk food bottles. And I was like, where's those milk bottles you were talking about?" "Oh, yeah, those milk bottles. I sold those yesterday." "What? You sold them? Oh my God. Why would you talk about them so much if you already sold them?" "I don't know." But anyway, for days I tried to get them. I mean, he said, "Well, I can try and get them back from the person I sold them to." But after 4 or 5 days of waiting, it just did not happen. But then, on the sixth day, I was pleasantly surprised because he did have them. And he did sell them to me. So, let's have a look at them. Okay. Here's what they came out looking like. For some reason, they're all dingy and dirty. Like they've been under the floor of an old house maybe for 80 years. But, yeah, they all look terrible like that. But this is a rare one. This is a Shinston. So I'm going to show them to you dirty like they came, and then I'm going to show them to you after I clean them. Some of them were just plain. And here's another Shinston. It's kind of wicked the way the color is. I almost want to leave it that way, but they're so ugly at the same time. What? This one just says milk, Fairmont, West Virginia. How weird is that? I can't say as I've ever heard of one that just says milk and then the city name. There was a few plain slick ones as well, but I told him I didn't want those because I didn't want to pay for those. But he said, well, just take them for free then. Fairmont Home Dairy. But it doesn't actually say West Virginia on it. There's a couple other Fairmonts in this country, but obviously this is from West Virginia. Another plain one. And yet another plain one. Alright, here's yet another Shinston. Gotta love these. Shinston is the town that has the best Pepsi bottles in the world, so any other bottle associated with Shinston is special in my opinion. So that was it. I got them for a pretty good price too. I think I paid $30 for all of them. Oh yeah, I forgot. I washed one of them already. And it is from Grafton. But it has a tremendous crack in it. And a piece broke out of the back. Cracked all the way from the top, all the way to this giant hole in the back. And it has two cracks. But anyway, it still displays pretty good. Maybe if I spray paint it white, it'll make it look kind of like a full milk bottle. And then a week and a half passes, and this other guy just happens to come by and say, "Oh, you collect old bottles? Well, I have some old bottles too. I have some milk bottles from Shinston." And I'm like, wait a minute, I've heard this story before. How can this be? "Oh, well, I have some." These are the bottles that were sold the day before I got to them. These other bottles were actually different ones. So, anyway, this guy goes home, gets them, but it takes so long, I actually am leaving the dump, and I barely caught up with them because a minute later, I would have been gone. So here they are, some more Shinston milk bottles. Okay, here's the 3 other milk bottles I've purchased from this other guy. It's another one of the same Primrose Dairies from Shinston, but it's a quart size this time, and it's in mint condition. I had to pay more for this one, but... And here's a half pint Fairmont Home Dairy. And it's pretty much in mint condition. It does have a slight problem with the inside of the lip, but it's very hard to notice. So I was glad to get this one too. And a Clark. It doesn't actually say West Virginia on it, but obviously it's from there. So that's another good milk bottle. I had to pay $35 for these 3. And I had to clean them up a little bit better. In case you haven't heard the story of the Pepsi Hutches, there's 110,000 of them made. And somebody was lucky enough to find the dump. Somebody did extensive work trying to locate the dump, and they finally found it. It was actually built on houses from the 1940s that were there. This guy talked his way into digging behind one of them anyway. An old couple lived there, and he started digging there, and he managed to convince them to move to an old folks home so that he could dig behind there all the time, because it would be an abandoned house at that point. And that's what happened. And it turns out he got in trouble for doing that, but he went in there with the backhoe, and he found hundreds of these, but he was not very careful, and he broke some of them. As you can see, this one is badly stained, but it's very clean where it's cracked. The top is freshly broken off by him because he was in such a hurry to get him out of there. I think I paid $50 for this one because it's so rough without the top and being severely stained, but I can always saw the top off and put a new one on and tumble it, and it'll be displayable hopefully.